And we are live, probably. It says excellent connection, so that's a good sign. It has been a long day and a long set of weeks. I got a little bit of this fucking flaky skin on my face. Okay, so we're live now. Alright, there's a little bit of added latency today for some reason. I got this weird flaky bullshit on my face because it's been dry as hell with the snow out. But that should be cleared up relatively soon. Not in time for us to have a debate tomorrow, though, on the Beyond the Ballot channel about whether or not you can be a libertarian and a racist, which I firmly believe you can't. So feel free.
Really?
Really?
Wow. I'm surprised. Wow. Because
So,
I don't think even Eric Wild that stance.
well, I disagree with him on a number of things. It would be interesting to actually hash them out someday, but the like there
I can make that happen. I can
the
make that happen.
the the closest I've ever gotten to doing anything with Eric July, other than one Borders debate a while back where he quote unquote moderated it by basically joining their side because he worked with Liberty Hangout, who I was debating. What like the closest I've gotten to anything else was him basically trying to like step up in public and saying I needed to step up right then and I had shit to do. So I wasn't about to like drop everything so that I could have an
Okay.
argument with him. But yeah, I disagree with him on a number of things, so it might be interesting someday. But that's one of the things.
Wow. I'm so surprised, honestly, because I agree with you. My timeline is kind of mess. Okay, like so if you want it to happen, honestly, I can definitely make it happen. He's actual guitarist. Me and him are very cool. And we can make
Mhm.
things happen. We can. So I did not know this entire time. I'm surprised, man. Like,
Well,
yeah.
you know, to be completely honest, I've got beef with like probably an annoying amount of people. Like I've had so many altercations with so many people over the years that I've built up this reputation as that guy. So it shouldn't be surprising if anyone like throw a rock and you'll find somebody who hates me. But
Me too. Well, look at me. I'm the most hated doomer on Twitter. So hey, what's I'll be so.
well, you know, I got called this once, and I kept it as sort of an honorific. I got called the most aggressively negative person on Liberty Twitter, so we might have to fight for that title.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, this is the base Pluto. He saw my tweet a while back talking about like coming on if you knew anybody or were personally affected by Biden's policies in a negative way, and he knows people and he knows quite a bit about the subject. But before we get into any of this and before I introduce him, I'm going to talk about the sponsors. The sponsors of this content are, as usual, Liberty Professionals will help you secure your home, small business, and life. It's run by a residential security expert who is an ASIS board certified physical security professional. And if you need work done in the Virginia area, they do missing persons investigations, skip tracing, and more. Contact them for more info. He has all the necessary tools in his toolbox to bring you peace of mind and stability for the future. Support Liberty businesses and these streams by heading over to libertyprofessionals.com to get your consult today. And while you're looking at anarchist content, check out AgoristNexus. Not only do I write there, but Wendy McElroy, Lily Forrester, Graham Smith, Storm Delagora, and more, including recently Shane Radliff of Liberty Under Attack Publications. Yeah, there's my first stutter for the stream. Interesting resources, business listings, and now publishing services. You can get your book published through our website. So consider heading over to AgoristNexus.com today. And if you decide to support my work, I greatly appreciate it. My patrons have already massively helped me, and I can't thank y'all enough. But the best thing you could do, hit that subscribe, like, if you decide you like it. Not before. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh yeah, please like the video now, before anything happens. You know, before I prove my worth. Especially when I accidentally click into a stream that's active right now, and you hear my voice twice. That's a great thing to do. But anyway, that stuff aside, we've been mutuals on Twitter for a while. The base Pluto on Twitter. He also has a YouTube
Quite a few
channel,
years now,
which
man.
you
It's
can
been like what, at
find
least
by
3
clicking the
years.
tag that I used in the title and the description. But with all that in mind, the subject of today's stream is generally Biden related bullshit. So feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, why you got into the Liberty sphere, and in general, what pisses you off about Biden the most first.
Well, I'm one of the probably most unique forms of a libertarian. I'm a libertarian transhumanist. Okay. So with me, I believe that active technology is the way to achieve freedom and maximize one's individual potential as well. And the ultimate expression of that is posthumanism. Now, was I always that way? Honestly, deep down I was. And I'm very similar to most agorists in that regard as well, because agorism does lead to that. And what made me really, really libertarian though was 9/11. Okay, that was the big thing as a child. Like, it never ever made sense to me, the official story. Like, it was too many holes. I was like in elementary school, you know what I mean? And when I would say things in class, people got uncomfortable, like as if I was talking about, murdering their family, like I put them in Cheerios, like bruh. So, but as I got older and did more research, I realized the truth, and that made me question the existence of government as a whole. Because I've always been like, why does it exist to begin with? And now I see it as, not needed at all. That's because I am, of course, again, an anarchist. And ever since then, like I've only been more extreme over the years, honestly. Every year I get more extreme. Every other year at this point. Like
Yeah.
I went from like, oh, maybe no, maybe a little less. No, it's all bad. I double down, yeah. I double down on it. They said like, oh, well, if there's like, people X Y, yes, don't die, yes. Like I'm that kind of libertarian, so
Well, I've always made it a point to bring up the fact that if you don't have the perfect answer to the lifeboat scenario, miss me with that bullshit. Like, I don't need to answer your perfect scenario question if you don't have a perfect answer for it yourself. If we're all imperfect, then we can all be imperfect together and maybe not be aggressive cunts for once.
I completely understand that regard. That's why, honestly, I do believe a lot of the issue is at a biological level when it comes to us as people at this point. And that's why I do wish one day we're able to, change the genetics of people so where a lot of the issues just don't exist anymore. Like I wish one day there'll be a state to where even things like race become of the past. Like no one even cares about that in their mind. Like you
Oh,
don't
I
see
hope so.
people. Yeah, yeah. Like
Because race is a social construct. I mean, I don't mean to just automatically sound like an SJW here, but the whole idea of race is like ignoring the common DNA between us all. It's ignoring, we all bleed red. It's ignoring the fact that like a lot of the cultural differences are differences in circumstance and not differences in humanity. And like a decent chunk of problems that people have with each other based on race are all based on like political bullshit from the past and sins of the father trash, and the rest of it is just bullshit based on like the subconscious, like I'm gonna have a thing against you because you look different, like the kinds of things that kept animals alive historically, but that humans have no real use for other than control and power, which is why white and black got created. The whole idea of white and black are, caste systems for, um,
correct.
yeah. Like, I'm not white. I'm fucking. I got a variety of flesh tones. Some of them are pink. Some of them like vaguely approach beige. Like I got some tan on me. I got lines of tan on me because I don't really do the whole like full body tanning bullshit. But I'm not. I ain't white. And the idea that because of my skin color or ancestry or something, I should have higher social status might have flown way back when, but it certainly doesn't fly now. And I don't think it was ever ethical. But
But a lot of that is just very, very telling. If you look at humans in general, they'll always find a way to discriminate amongst themselves. It would look very, very similar. Case in point, the history of Russia, like,
mhm.
or even China. Like, just a matter of honestly time at this point. Like if everyone had freaking red hair, they go, oh, Wade's hair is like a red hair. Okay, it's like what?
Mm-hmm.
What is the point? What the hell the points? That's why one of my favorite games of all time, well, franchise actually, is Mass Effect. Because in Mass Effect, especially the whole trilogy, mostly 1 and 2, to be real. Like you see a lot of the more like racism in there, but the racism is racism between actual alien species. I like that a lot more of a dynamic than, let's say, typical, okay, brown guy over here. No, man, that to me is interesting. I want to see conflicts where it's amongst different like entire beings of people. Like that's my interest. But a lot of the internal things I do believe will be our biggest fault and will be the reason why humanity will never quickly enough advanced as it should.
Well, yeah, and the lack of fast advancing is going to cause us to, get caught up in the tides of what's already been done, and basically, like, we're already pretty much fucked as far. See, that's the thing. You're a transhumanist. You think that this stuff can be solved with like technology and
Yeah.
modification. But to me, I look at all the bullshit that's already been fucking done, and I have no hope for the future. I think everything is fucked, and I think we're all gonna die, and I think it's going to be a catastrophic Armageddon, the likes of which will make Revelations look like a children's story with years of darkness and rivers of blood. That's what I see coming, and I constantly talk about that, which is why most people don't talk to me. Um,
I have two theories. Okay, I have two of them. One, okay, well, it's not theory, it's a fact because Labrador is real. So I know the Western civilization is dying currently because no babies being born. I mean,
mm-hmm.
so that's if you think I'm playing about leaving, I'm leaving the West. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when at this point. And I don't want to be one of the collapse amongst itself because it's going to really cannibalize itself. Whether it's Europe or America or Canada, just birth rates are very telling. It's going to be that. It's going to happen. And or I do believe at some point humanity will reach a point to where we can travel amongst the planets. And my dream one day is to make all the Ancoms or techies have their nice little starvation coat planet. Okay? They can finally leave me alone. So when it fails this time, who are they gonna blame? All right, who are they gonna blame? Just them.
Well,
All right, so
tankies maybe. To me, I don't place ancoms and tankies in the same boat. Because I know a lot of actual good ancoms, but tankies,
yeah, oh god, absolutely, bro. Taking them the worst. They're the worst.
and like
Definitely the worst.
I've only ever see because I have a couple tanky followers on Twitter, and like whenever it comes down to that particular part of their ideas, I always just mock them for birds and Leninism. Like I fucking I'm very unokay with any form of state economic mandate. And that's why I oppose like state capitalism just as much as I oppose state communism or state anythingism. Um, and that puts me at odds with a significant amount of people because most people want a state of some sort, whether it's like, liberal democratic or republicanist or like, a tanky or a Nazi. Like, people want a state and they're wedded to the idea that you can't get anything done without a state. And that sort of bullshit is going to lead us downhill, guaranteed. But like beyond that, like tankies themselves, it's so fucking amusing that they're so willing to believe the Leninist government and all of what they put out, but as soon as you say anything negative about any of that, you're CIA propagandist.
Yeah, propaganda, American propaganda, imperialist propaganda. Oh, it's fake photos. I was told the actual freaking famine photos were fake photos recently. I was also told recently by another freaking tanky that oh well, Lenin didn't ethnically cleanse people. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. There were see the thing is he just sent them. There were no camps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were. It was by ethnicity. Yes, it was. Well, it's not something. Yes, it was. It's right there, people. It is. What do you mean? And like, it dropped me insane because I know people that I talked to from Eastern Europe who lost their great grandparents
Yeah.
to living in a freaking gulag. Okay, and it's just the way I'm looking at things is so rational. But what drives me more insane though, it ain't even them. If I see Mao anywhere, I already know what time it is. That's the one you don't want to touch. You see Mao, I say personally block them. Okay, block them. Those people listen, I was in college, right? In college, I had a Maoist in my freaking college try to get me to get out of school. No lie. No lie. They were absolutely insane. If I see Mao, I stay away. I don't engage. I was like, no, Nate. I told you, Nate, no Maoists, okay? You see Mao, run away. That's the rule. No Mao. Because, God, man, it's so insane, bro. Like, that's right there is peak. Like, I've never seen more delusion in my life than Maoists, ever, in ideology.
That's why you
They
bring
don't
up
double down.
Burns. See, to me, I don't run away from any of these people. I just find ways to pick at them, like Maoist, Leninist, Nazis, any of them. Like Stalinists. It just, to me, it's just another way to like prove that they're trying to look for a daddy. Like a lot of these people, they have strong issues with a specific kind of authority, but they think if their kind of authority was in, that they'd suddenly do fine. You know, which is why you get people like Biden and Trump supporters.
Yes.
Because they think they've got it all figured out, and as soon as you hand them the reins, everything will just be hunky dory. But the funny part is that when it's not, they'll still cling to the facile tiny bits that went well for them. Like when Trump started to enact all that gun control. You know, fucking. Have you ever seen that guy, that WWE guy who who was crying in the bleachers in that viral video, and he's like, "It's still real to me, damn it,
dude." Oh, geez, that was hilarious, man. God, that freaking. But that's completely, apparently, not religion, right? Not religion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, but see, that's how all people are with their politicians, their preferred guys. And I think that's the same way with this Biden thing, because like he claims to be a champion of civil rights and all that bullshit. But what's his record? We've got crime bills, we've got racial profiling, we've got the encouragement of
pedophilia.
We've got
we can't say on YouTube, but snuggling philia of little children on a laptop.
Yeah, and we've got fucking the encouragement of segregation by not using the systems that were put in place to like stop segregation. Just, you know, we'll call it busing. That's what, like. So like, the whole notion that Biden is some savior is laughable. And, you know, to be specific, just to hit this nail home, part of the reason he was elected, selected, I personally believe there was a lot of fraud here.
On God. On God.
But, you know, the way he was elected, let's just say with extreme air quotes, is the idea of being an equalizer, of stopping the bigotry and all that shit. And one of the key campaigning groups for his bullshit was Black Lives Matter. But he had this civil rights summit or whatever, and they wrote him to see if like they could get a seat at the table, and he didn't even invite Black Lives Matter. Like, how are you going to be a Democrat politician?
You don't vote for me. Yes, dude. He at least said it. You don't vote for him. We're not black. Okay,
yeah.
That Joe Biden. All right.
Yeah, like I don't see, and this is the thing. I wouldn't understand if I believed in the system. I would think that this didn't make any sense. It was totally idiosyncratic. But then when you realize that the whole thing is bullshit, that it's all regalia, that it's all a show, that they're putting on this big fucking production, like Hollywood style production, while they do what they wanted anyway, it makes total sense. So just in that spirit, the thread that spawned this discussion originally was a thread asking for people who had stories of negative things in their life related to Biden. And I wanted to ask, first off, you said you have family who has been negatively affected, but
yes, I do.
But second off, after we get we get done with that, you said you have other things involving him that you would kind of like to dish on today as well. So let's get to the family first. Let's prove that this is personal.
My own aunt had issues with drug addiction for a long time. Okay. And that dumbass crime bill put her in prison for a long time. And now my cousin well, she's doing well in life, you know what I mean? But I saw how my cousin didn't have a mother, no dad as well, by the way. So just my grandmother raised her. And it's like the way that my cousin is, I know that if my aunt was more in her life, not being, in prison, that she would not be how she is right now, She would not be behind in life in a way. And that's what bothers me the most is that I've seen my aunt a lot of my life be gone and behind bars and seeing how the effects on my older cousin was done directly, And I've also taught in the high school, middle school system. All right. I taught as well for a little bit. And I've seen kids' life get destroyed. Okay. Whole lot destroyed because they got arrested one day selling drugs at 15, 16, 17, you know what I mean? And a lot of them got charged as adults. Why that happened? That happened because of the crime bill.
Right.
This is reality. Like, people understand this is what make people live with. And they say things like, oh, if you don't vote for Biden, then you're not black. They can't even vote. It's over. The balance. It's over. Like that to me is a big thing too, is because when he got rid of the he imposed mandatory minimum sentences along with Clinton, his freaking boyfriend, you know what I mean? Because freaking they smash him, they smash him. All right, so like how it is, and that for me is very, very telling. It really is how I've seen it firsthand, teaching children, seeing it in my own family. And what brought me and said, if we just man really went on camera and said we ain't black, we don't support him, and the same people cheering say he's speaking the facts. And then also the whole F12, know what I mean, at the police, they voted for a VP cop. Like, this is what I mean. Wait, ain't black. She ain't even black either. She's not black. She's all Indian. It's like, oh my God. What is the delusion?
So, and that's part of it. Like, Kamala is a great compliment to Biden because Kamala was famous for locking up poor people and laughing about it. So, like,
yeah,
you can expound on that probably because like I've got my own particular brand on this, but you're on so.
Dude, like, she went on freaking Breakfast Club. No, she went on Breakfast Club and made this dumb ass joke like, "Oh, I smoked weed when I was younger. I'm Jamaican. What do you expect?" I'm like, so it's okay for you to smoke weed, all right, but not little Timmy and his friends. He put in jail. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. And also things like too, her going to school. You know what I mean? It's like she's completely 100% okay. It's like Obama again. Remember Obama? How it was. Mm-hmm. It's like that, but even worse actually now. It's even worse than Obama, okay, at this point. Because we all know for a fact over here, Biden ain't the president. Ain't Biden, okay? Biden ain't president. Nah, ain't Biden. Biden gonna last probably a year. He's gonna die or retire from, not knowing he is at the time.
Nah, I mean, because presidents are figureheads, yo. Like, they always...
79, man.
Yeah, I recognize that, but presidents are figureheads, so they'll keep him alive on fucking formaldehyde if they have to. Like, we're talking about, because if Biden is there, they don't even have to have the pretense of civil rights, because like with Obama, they had to make him seem like the civil rights president, and they had to make it seem like he gave a shit. Meanwhile, he was the deporter in chief and the drone king. So they had to make it. They don't even have to give a shit now. That's the reason they can have Kamala the VP, They don't have to give a shit. Trump was 4 years of successful bigotry. They can do this in public now. It's fascism.
Oh my God. There we go. It drives me insane too, because it's like I wish people would really take the time, like please people take the time to research these actual people that y'all love so much. Like Young Pharaoh have been going off on Biden, okay? He been saying all facts about Biden, okay? And he been calling this man a coon. I'm like, you gonna call Young Pharaoh a coon? That, like, y'all a tweak. Okay, so what happens? Young Pharaoh had a whole PowerPoint presentation about Joe Biden. Talking about the crime bill, okay, so YouTube, the children incidents, okay, on the video, the laptop, he mentioned everything, okay? And it went viral. Okay, actually went viral on YouTube, and then of course they shall ban it off YouTube, so you can't see anymore on the page because it's gonna happen. So it's like this man was like, "Y'all dumb." Okay, if you think if you see me unfollow you, it's on purpose because I was like, because he saw his black celebrity friends, you know what I mean, were like cheering and championing Joe Biden. It's like, bro, Joe Biden put your family in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden is a pedophile, is a child friend, okay? And
Oh,
this
yeah.
your guy?
So just to be clear, you can say these words on my channel. I don't give a shit, and that's probably one of the reasons I have low subs. So
Oh, that's great. So, yeah, but he's like a pedophile. Like it's like the whole laptop evidence, the Chinese thing too. Like all that's real. He's been in China, all right, with a picture with the Chinese government, and like this is y'all dude. This is y'all dude. Like you can be serious, man, and just that is very very telling to me. You know how it's in blatant obvious. Oh, also another thing too. I forgot the Klan dude. That was his mentor. And people try to say it wasn't real. He went to the man's eulogy.
Yep.
That's video evidence. Like, but remember, I don't believe your deceiving eyes. All right, don't believe people.
Yeah. Well, so and that's one of the things. Like he's always hung out with bigots. He's always been like buddy with like truly awful people. And then he comes out with all this down home bullshit and acts like he's been places. Yeah, you've been places and you're the reason they're the way they are. Like, it's not if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. It's if you are black, you can't vote for me because of me. You know?
It's the truth, man. It's so crazy too. Like, so apparently this pedophile Klansman associate, okay, is the true black savior, okay, who got more votes than Obama too, by the way. In Obama won in districts too. So that could, not fraud at all, people. Not it's all completely legit. All right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want y'all to realize that this is your savior now. He's going to save us now by having the flu during flu season re-peak, obviously, but not really. And that's going to save us. He's going to lock down the country again and be a savior for everyone. Yay!
Yeah, and of course now that that we've like probably very guaranteedly got the Democrat in charge. Now they'll suddenly agree to a bunch of the stimulus that they were basically stonewalling to keep conditions bad while Trump was here.
People try to be mad at me too about like, oh well, the thing is, why didn't Trump give more freaking X, Y, Z? It's like, people, do you know how stuff even works? Like, they literally didn't want it to happen. I know why. I understand why they didn't want Trump to do the whole like stimulus thing. I get it, because they want to do it. It's like, it's just, people try to complain. It's like, y'all understand what's even happening. Y'all get playing at a degree level of like 5D chess, okay, on the average person. So we know that Biden's gonna have the whole stimulus plan. You know what I mean? They're probably gonna call it Biden bucks. You know what I mean? We got Trump bucks first.
Yeah.
So Biden bucks, and then we're gonna shut down the country about 3 months until the season's over for flu season. We're out the freaking vaccine, which has a 90% success rate, even though the virus has a 99% survival rate. And there you go.
Yeah. Well,
welcome to the Great Reset, everyone.
And it's exactly like that, the thing you said earlier. It's like some cuck, like supreme gentleman, like fucking rushing to the door like, no, I'll get this for you, miss. Don't worry your pretty little hands about that. It's that sort of bullshit, but politically. Like, oh, no, Trump, you don't get to do it. Biden will take care of it. Don't worry.
The third black president, Joe Biden.
Yeah. And so, with that, you said you had like some other stuff other than the way it personally affected your family. I mean, is there any more with your family, or is it just that?
Well, I know for a fact that my dad's side of the family is harmed too, but he doesn't talk about it much, honestly. He doesn't like talking about it because I'm Black Native American, I'm Black Seminole, and the entire, like, look at our freaking tribe. Just look at it. You know what I mean? So, it's like I say, like, it's terrible, man. Like, it's awful. And just seeing that effect of that alone, a lot of us, first off, don't know we're even Seminole because, 12 tears. Second of all, it's just think like just seeing how some of the younger ones too go to jail and stuff. It's like, bro, this is all because of the crime bill. I know where it come from. I've done the research. Like, it's so common too that I saw this interview too from my boy Hotep Jesus. You know what I mean? He interviewed Cooley. All right, and Cooley's from Chicago. He sold like weed at like what 16, 17, you know what I mean? And from selling weed, he can't vote now. Can't
Mm-hmm.
vote. Can't vote now. You know what I mean? They call this man a coon. You a coon, Cooley. You a coon. You want to support Joe Biden, Cooley. You been a coon. And he's like, I can't even vote. You know what I mean?
Well, and the worst part is that like with disenfranchisement the way it is, like it's not like the vote even matters. With the electoral college and the
Yeah.
gerrymandering shit, it's like and the fact that Dominion software exists. I mean, I'm not
Dude,
gonna.
dude, the Minion, have you seen when they did the Minion software, bro? 20 minutes, 20 minutes is all they needed. 20 minutes. The judge, like, it's okay, I'll give them 20 minutes. All wiped out, kicked the server, destroy. They had the freaking, they had what's it called? Oh, killing me. The machines you use to, like, take care of technology, to take them apart, you know what I mean? To destroy them. They had one of those pulled out, ready to go. Okay, it's like, and we also learned too, everyone, that apparently Arizona is now blue state. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Arizona blue state now. Yeah, Arizona, the state is more gun pro than Texas. Is now blue state. Everyone, it's not even close. It's not. It's just straight blue. All right, we're just very very happy right now about that. So
Well, and the
get
fun
by.
part is like the whole electoral bullshit, meaning like, if see, and this is the thing, I wouldn't want a red country or a blue country because I don't want a country. I want anarchy, but you know you do too. But at the same
Yes.
time, or maybe it's blue, but it's blue because we've all converted to the one true religion of Sonic the Hedgehog. But the if it's red, primarily, which it is, like if you look at most of the country with like the way that the electoral college worked, if you look at the blue districts, they're very small and isolated urban areas in corners of places, and like the rest of the country still gets to be governed by those tiny little pockets because of the electoral college, if the electoral college and election system even works, which I'm cynical about that entirely because I'm a conspiracy theorist tinfoiler and a nut job who nobody should listen to if they love their parents. um did you say something?
Yeah, my thing is, okay, I've done some research concerning the actual old American system, and I do wish that it was the more federalist system, back at the old federal system, you know what I mean? Because I've done my research in that regard, and apparently you could just move states, you know what I mean? Let's say that, oh, this area over here, I don't like their crime, whatever, or their freaking way of life, or their gun views. Like, okay, just move. A word, just move. Like that to me is amazing. You know what I mean? How literally back in the day, if there was issues, let's say with a state policy, whatever, you didn't agree with the policies, you can just change states and go. Okay, that is all gone now. It's all federal owned, pretty much federal controlled. All right, the whole I don't like this. Let's say prices over here, cost of living difference. No, you gotta completely deal with the federal government being the basically big dick over here. Okay, with everything. And that to me is very, very telling because I do subscribe to the ideal of succession. And I do believe that succession is a good thing because the more to succeed to the
Can be.
individual, the better it is.
Can be. I mean, it can be if it's done properly with good execution. By the way, just before we proceed any further, because I do want to proceed in this direction, but we've got a few things in chat. Sweet Liberty 76 says, I voted for Trump because I felt like he shattered the fourth wall of the political show. What are y'all's ideology? I'm libertarian conservative. You go first.
Okay, so how to put this properly? All right. If Trump shattered the fourth wall, there's a fifth one. Okay. There'll be a fifth wall around that wall somewhere. So sharing the interior does not mean the exterior is exposed. So therefore, the actual truth is still covered up. I do understand when people vote for Trump. I completely understand. I get it. But did I do it though? Hell no. They were like, no, I'm good. I get y'all point. I'm gonna be friends in the group chat, but that ain't me. Like
Yeah.
my own family's like they're split, so I'm like, no, I ain't gonna vote for Trump. Never will. Not gonna happen. I ain't doing it. All right. Please, no, please, thank you. Like I ain't doing it. That's not for me.
So what is your
But
political ideology?
again, I'm libertarian transhumanist, so like
Yep.
I don't believe government at all. That includes voting. Voting is bullshit.
Right.
Voting is complete bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, man. Okay, it's bullshit. No gonna tell me that the people who don't know you exist, okay, at all, that they can have actual change. No, that's bullshit, man.
Hey, but I wanted to stay in. I really did. I had such good plans to stay in, and I had such good plans when I stayed in, and I could have done all that, but aw shucks, they wrote down things on a piece of paper, and now I gotta leave? Nah.
The almighty paper, man. Almighty paper. It controls us all.
Yeah, well, normally when people ask me my political beliefs, I either say I'm an anarchist and just leave it at that, wait for them to get mad at me, or I say I'm a hedgehog because I don't want to talk about it. Like, it, my political ideology is basically the bottom strip on the political compass. Anything there is fine as long as you're actually anarchist. I'm okay with you because that's basically maximum liberty. And so that's my particular political belief. I have a thing that I'm writing a book on to really flesh out, which is called anarcho-coalitionism, which is the idea of
Yes.
building
Yes.
building ad hoc coalitions that can be built up and broken down at any point for purpose-built activities. And those can range the entire bottom strip, but it's bottom unity. It's not left unity or right unity, both of which are political suicide, and it's not authoritarian unity, which is basically just, war. Um, so like that's my general idea. I want people to work together toward common goals in the present moment, right? That's my but I'm an anarchist first and foremost, and I'm also a solipsist, which means I accept that none of this could be real. I could be talking to myself in my own skull right now, and the idea of reality itself is kind of tenuous, so I could be wrong about everything. So I temper out my ideas with the idea that I could be completely full of shit. But I'm an anarchist first and foremost. Um,
In my regard too, I guess I'll be anti-statist as well, first and foremost. You know what I mean? In that regard as well. But in my case, like the only reason why I'm not mutualist is pretty much at this point the whole we part.
mhm.
That we part, man. The we is like, oh, now I'm good. It's like we. We mean we? Hold on, wait a minute. No, I'm good. I'm by myself. I'm sorry. Every time I say we, I'm out. I can't do the we thing, bro. I need my space. You can be friends over there, but leave me alone.
Well,
No, we, none of us.
we and us are always interesting subjects on their own because it's like which we and which us. Because obviously there's going to
Yep.
be a we and an us that get left behind. Obviously there's going to be some sort of like decision making process that excludes one group or another because we ain't always going to be we. Homogeneity is impossible. It's why racism doesn't work. um so I don't know, but I'm willing to work with people along those lines because at the very
Absolutely,
least,
yeah.
yeah, like at the very least we're going to end up in a more libertarian paradigm. um the same person says, I find it hilarious that Biden and Kamala will be the new drone bombers in chief while Trump could get up to 4 Nobel Peace Prizes. Um, they also brought up the city versus rural culture war, and said that it's very unitary now. I could see
That's
that.
an interesting perspective. Yeah, yeah, pretty good. So yeah.
Um, Apollo LaRue, I think that's you in chat. If I remember your name correctly, I'm really bad with names. That's one thing. Says secession is the only solution. I think it's a potential solution, but I think it has a lot of pitfalls potentially. Like the idea that we secede to small like units of governments, to the point where everything is necessarily micromanaged, and like because it's not like a local bureaucrat is going to be dramatically better than one in Langley. The whole idea of bureaucracy itself is what needs to go away. We don't need to secede to smaller bureaucracies. But that's me being a cynical asshole because it could work out fine.
I got in the chat. Liberty Illustrator said that transhumanism isn't really a political position. That is not entirely true. Okay, so I'm what people would call a post-libertarian. Okay, that's a good way to describe it. Post-libertarian. So libertarian transhumanism, the best way to describe it is that it's very, very complementary to agorism. Okay, so it's the belief in voluntary exchange, but the core focus is about science, and that
Mhm.
science achieves true freedom. All right. So
And
for
acne
example,
anti-technocratic science.
yes. So example of this is clean water. Okay, change the human condition permanently. Clean water does this by definition. So we now can make clean water in a bottle. That to me is absolutely incredible how we can make it in the bottle now. So 100 years ago it was impossible. Now permanently a whole village, for example, they're now more free objectively from that water being a bottle by definition. So you believe that science is the way to achieve true freedom. The number one question I'm told actually is like the roads, but everyone knows, oh, the roads. Who built the roads? Who built them? We all know how it goes, okay? But I'm told, well, think is Morpheus, it's Pluto. It's the robots, man. The Terminator, Skynet. You gotta understand, because Skynet gonna take over. Like Skynet gonna and there's truth to that. I see where they're coming from. I really do. But I work in technology. I work in tech. So it's like I laugh a little bit because I've heard things like they're gonna take our jobs. They're gonna take our jobs. I'm like, no, they're not, people. That's not how economics works. Like, but
Well, those people need to read Hazlitt.
Yes, it's like my great grandpappy don't have his farm in our family for 10 generations, and the freaking sidewalk gonna take our job. Like, no, no, people, not how it works.
Well, so, I mean, there is a little truth to that, though, because it's not like somebody who's trained in a certain trade for like 20 years and they've got all that experience. When that trade gets absorbed by tech, it's not like they can just go learn C++. A lot of these people will be displaced by technology in some way. But that's why...
Agreed.
But that's why that technology...
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why that technology should be taught more evenly. And in the future, people should have like a greater grasp on this sort of stuff from default, instead of learning about, Shakespeare, unless you want to, in which case more power to you, instead of learning about some old stuffy, like just politically correct enough to be allowed in schools, like reading material. Why don't we learn C++? Why don't we learn things like that? Why don't we learn at those levels so that everybody starts off a little easier, and the jobs that are still like sort of manual labor and still do require like boots on the ground, those can still be done by those people, and these other people can get all their tech jobs in either Silicon Valley or what might be the new Silicon Valley, which might be Texas.
Yep. Or Georgia. Do that, or Georgia. Atlanta.
And wouldn't that be some shit? Because California stole all of Georgia's agriculture jobs, so wouldn't it be funny if Georgia absorbed some of their tech bullshit?
That'd be amazing at this point. Honestly, California, it sucks so much, man. California sucks, bro. Like, Nate, leave, bro. You gotta leave, Nate. Leave. Like, why are you there, Nate? Why? Just why? Gotta leave California, bro. Leave California, please. But in my regards to, like, for every job destroyed by technology, it's like what, 4 made, and they do pay higher and better quality of life. But the problem is, again, people get left behind. That's the big thing. And on my own channel as well discussed this, is that people fear that they're gonna lose their job and then it's over because the job killed the no, people, not exactly. If you're not trained for the replacement, that's the true black pill, okay? The true doomerism right there in a nutshell. Is that too many people aren't prepared for, call it is, a better, more safer quality of life because they're not taught how to be. So when the time comes, it's too late for a lot of them. And that's very unfortunate. It really is. And that's why, again, my community of doomerism, because people like me, I've talked about things like which is kind of a myth. Talk about things like technology advancement. Talk about things such as even unemployment. A lot of them, because mostly it's men, it's the male community. So a lot of them are unemployed, you know what I mean? So for them, it's like, I can't find a job, man, because in my area, everything is just like more advanced. I just don't have, yes, absolutely. That's how it is. That's all by design. Look at Japan. Japan is probably the doom capital of the whole world. They offer themselves because it's a very, very strict culture that of expectation on men, you know what I mean? On women too, actually. That's just how it is. And I want people in general, honestly, to realize that if you're not prepared for the evolution, you will get left behind. It's an arc, okay? It's an arc. If you're not in an arc, you're gonna die. You're gonna drown. Okay, that's how it is.
Although, I mean, it's sort of like penicillin, though, like, because there is a certain evolution there, But penicillin isn't a product of evolution. It's a product of humans interfering in what could be considered a more natural course of things, which isn't a bad thing. Like if I get a really bad infection, I don't mind some icillin, whether it be penicillin, amoxicillin, something like that. I don't mind that. If I get a bad enough infection, because honestly, they fuck with your gut microbiome, and I'm not crazy about that, so I don't take them if I don't have to. But all that shit aside, the whole the whole idea of things like penicillin is to avert nature. And to me, I sort of see the state as a double-edged sword in that regard, because when we're talking about the slow, like, I mean, I guess you could call it the evolution of humanity specifically, because they operate so differently from so many other animal species. Um, when we're talking about humanity specifically, they've always been both spurred and held back by the state. So like
Yeah,
the state will boost some Silicon Valley institution, but with massive amounts of tax dollars, like the CIA money pumping through InQtel to a bunch of tech projects like Keyhole, which is now conveniently using the same stuff in Pokemon Go and Ingress. And like Oracle, the company that might own the U.S. version of TikTok, was originally a CIA project. Like
correct,
Facebook was like massively funded by the CIA and other intelligence,
correct.
and the Atlantic Council was it was and is heavily involved in their decision making, and that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Alphabet Incorporated, heavy CIA asset, and NSA. So my
Obviously, look at the name. You know what I mean? People it's like, what, really? Google's with the CIA?
yeah,
It's their parent company is called Alphabet.
exactly.
Like, they're in front of you people.
So
Like,
so it's when you realize these things, and then you realize that these same like statist influencers involved in the intelligence, technology, medical, military, prison, educational, media, industrial complexes, and more. They're the people who are saying, well, we might give you UBI. We might give you the same amount of money we've been giving to everybody else, but only if you beg for it and only if you get enough support for that politician. So, like, the thing is, like, these same it's not natural evolution is what I can say. And the idea that people should accept that their money was stolen and future generations robbed through debt.
social contract, though. The
Right,
social contract, though.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But like the idea that people should accept that because of evolution and just learn the new thing, when they're not being given paid time off to learn the new thing through something like UBI, which is one of the primary reasons that they claim they want to put it through, so that people can have time to train in the new fields. But the idea that they should accept that they should accept the new future paid for by the state without getting a piece of that pie, to me seems sort of like a bitch stay in yo lane kind of situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's me. Like, you're seeing why people like often call me negative.
No, I understand, but it's like, okay, if you look at the science in the East versus the science in the West, okay, technology. If you ever noticed that the science in the East is like very, very progressing kind of crazy fast versus
Hmm.
here, we'll be like, why is it happening? Why is like Japan, Taiwan, why is it so more advanced in here? Because literally, the more technology over here has been capped. A lot of it's either basically for like,
Oh, and
war.
Soko,
Oh yeah, yes.
because Samsung.
Or even like, yeah, yes. The Samsung, Korea, yes, all that technology which Apple basically stole is all Eastern. And when we look over here in the West, we have like Boston Dynamics. I mean, Boston Dynamics, who everyone's terrified of because we've seen Terminator a few too many times. And we see things here like, social engineering programs, such as, social media. Like the technology difference between the East and the West is very, very telling. And if it's not for war, if it's not to control you, it's like it's ignored, or to, let's say to poison you, poison you as well because you gotta like, not cure disease. Why do that? We can just, I'm on pills for life. I just can I say cure disease. Get out of here, this office, man. Cure diseases. But yeah, the East really, to me, that's technological future, the future of the East. Like, look at Elon Musk. It took Elon Musk, okay, to cause more advancement in space travel. Him, okay, if not for war. Because, well, actually, the funny thing is, I mentioned this now. There's now a new branch of the government, the Space Force. So what does that tell you, people? This is what I mean. So Elon's like, oh, we're gonna go on space, for humanity. Government's like, nah, fam, Space Force, okay? We're going to the Space Force. Like, come on, bro.
Well,
That's
yeah,
very
and,
sad,
and you
actually.
know, to cure disease, these are the same people that, well, not the same exact people, but the same group of people. They all signed the same social contract, we'll say. The same group of people that did the Tuskegee syphilis experiments, Operation Sea Spray, depleted uranium babies, and a bunch of other bullshit. These people are going to tell you how to live healthy. Okay.
Like people don't understand. Like that's why also I'm planning on leaving this culture so badly because it's so crazy. Like what they do here, man. There's so many like black pills you don't know about, which on my channel we'll discuss. Like the food pill. Like Monsanto is pretty much. I'm surprised that they. Well, not surprised too much because statism. But Monsanto, the beans, bro. People think, oh, it's the bean. No, Monsanto, what they're doing, that's like aggression. They literally throw beans seeds on people's farms
Mm-hmm.
and then be like, well, it's our property now. We own this. These are
Yeah.
beans. And like, bye, farmers.
Farm seizures.
Yeah, yeah.
Entire fields of corn seized by Monsanto, and then the fields taken over because of cross pollination.
There we go. This is our property because we can prove it. Look, some DNA in here, man. So, and it's funny to
Oh,
me too because
and
that's
it's
just
and
sad,
it's and
dog.
it's all to get us bellying up to the trough to eat a bunch of grain like fucking cows, which is a point.
Yes.
Which is a point I made the other day, which pissed some people off. Especially people into Western civilization, because like a bunch of people credit grain with being like the thing that pushed people forward. Maybe partially, but also that grain that people have been farming has been going into meat animals, and that meat has hugely helped the brain grow because it has more protein per serving, more protein, cholesterol, and fat, which is how your thinky parts work. Um,
Yes.
so the whole idea that we're supposed to just chow down on all this fucking grain like fucking ruminants. We're not ruminants. We don't have two stomachs. Fuck that.
Well, the thing is too, like I think that world hunger, honestly, this point could have been cured a long time ago. I entirely believe this. Okay, like the reason why I say this is because I know how technology works in regards to such, and I like animals. Okay, I will hear because they can poison me. So the argument that I've seen is that you can grow more on plants than you can, entire like rows of meat. Okay, which is true because it's less space needed. But that isn't the real problem. Okay, it's not because they're freaking like cows. You know what I mean, it's the utilization of resources because people don't realize is that all that farmland basically is state controlled. That's all it is, state controlled. So the state isn't utilizing the actual land properly on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like people understand, like there's certain ways that could have been solved, but they don't. They just choose not to. They choose not to. And once you realize that black pill, that even the food, because the food pill, the food here is meant to basically, I hate to say it, but not truly keep you at a way that's healthy so you age well. Okay, I've noticed this that if I look at women, okay, for example, women, okay, people like, oh, Morpheus, blah blah blah, Brazilian girls, okay, look at Brazil, look at Asia, how they age, okay, their face, how they age. Look at Eastern European as well, how they age in their face, how they age. They generally age better. Why? Because we're not getting poisoned. That's why. Not getting poisoned. We're getting poisoned here, people. You're getting poisoned here because when people realize that you're aging so poorly here because the food is poisoning you, it's like, oh yeah, right.
And
So I know
and
that too, man.
and on the grain
Yes,
score, you're noshing a bunch of grain with these teeth that were designed to be omnivorous, and these teeth are eroding down because of high amounts of carbohydrates, acids, and sugars.
yes, and a lot of things too is that what I've noticed is you can see in other cultures too, the cultures you'll see people that are older that look pretty fair in the gym doing like more things like being more active. Here, not the case. You won't see people here older almost rock climbing. That'll happen. But I realized, oh my god, it's because literally they're poisoning people so badly that when they get older, they can't enjoy their life more. So it's like that to me is insane how that systematic poisoning over the generations, and how it's happened now. Like even the thing is like I do believe that I hate to say this, man, but the vaccine thing, I'm sorry, I ain't taking it, bro. I ain't doing it. I can't. Okay, I'm a transhumanist things, okay? A transhumanist is telling you I got damn vaccine. I can't. Okay, that is a state-controlled vaccine, state-controlled poison. I'm sorry. Like the fact that literally, okay, let's be real here, people. Let's be real. You know that vaccines are basically a one-size-fit-all policy? You know that? So we give a
Mm-hmm.
little kid the vaccine size, same as an adult. That to me is strange, okay? Don't go all notice this at all how literally the little behind kid had the same vaccine dose as an adult here in the country. But globally, not the case. No, globally, vaccine at all the same way, handle it at all. Kids have their own vaccine for little behind kids, but here, no.
Well, see, to me, I don't trust what's in the vaccine, and I never have. I'm vax neutral. If a
Yes,
vaccine like seems to be good, like I'll read fucking 40 research papers of vaccine in before I'm willing to take it. Like I have the tetanus vaccine. I'm up to date on that shit, right?
same.
But I'm not going to take like other shit. I'm not going to take this Purdue or sorry this Pfizer thing, Purdue the fucking oxycodone fucking opiate epidemic thing fucking in my brain for some. Well, actually, were they the oxycodone or were they the fucking douchebag who raised the price of diabetes medication? I can't remember. Whatever, one of them. They're not who I'm talking about. Pfizer's new vaccine is like awful. It seems to have a really low coefficient of like benefits to risks, and it also seems to have like some undue release requirements to the point where this is basically an extended. I saw somebody whose wife is a biological doctor, like she's actually got degrees in that shit, biological medicine, and his conclusion was that yeah, sure, old people can take it. Like my assumption is he didn't say this, but my assumption is like, what do you have to lose? You're only gonna live for like five more years anyway.
Oh, jeez.
But
Oh,
like,
sorry. That's funny, man. That's hilarious, man. That's funny. Okay, that is hilarious. LaRue, bro. That's funny. He's in the chat right now. My boy LaRue. Fam, that's funny, LaRue. That is funny, bro. It's like, but the old man, so might as well.
so like I mean, there's that element, but he also said he's not going to recommend his kids take it, and he's not going to take it. And neither is his wife, who's like, a biological medicine doctor. And like, I understand why, because I've seen I've seen the papers for it, and it's not a good vaccine, and it hasn't been tested thoroughly. Like this is an extended trial, basically, where people are agreeing to this shit because they want the scary thing to go away. They're afraid of the boogeyman, and they're not actually like looking into this shit because like there's been no like small side effect tests of any merit. Like there's been major side effect tests, and allegedly those went well, but there's also this element of it where like I've been asymptomatic this whole time, even though like I have a thing against masks and I wear them as little as possible. And if nobody
Same, bro. I can't stand them, bro. I freaking hate these damn masks, dog. I hate them so much. Okay, I'm gonna give you a damn Bane mask. Okay, a Bane one at this point because they're fucking annoying, bro. Like it doesn't work. They don't work. They don't work. Okay, they don't. The science is proof this. I'm wearing a goddamn mask for. Okay, like, and I read this too, bro. Like, if you wear a goddamn mask, like, look at this person here, not wearing a mask, doesn't care about the children. Or the, like, I don't care. I don't care. Fuck your kids. Fuck your
well
kids.
also also basically no kids have been negatively affected by the virus either. So there's like there's that element of it, and then there's the element of it where like where there was this study done in China, which has been considered by many people to be the best country in terms of response, including the UN, the WHO, Fauci himself thought that they did fantastically. China, this study said that basically nobody caught it from asymptomatic spread. Like,
Well, there you go.
and maybe if I'm not coughing and hacking a lot because I don't have your shit, maybe if I don't have a whole lot of viral material in my mucus because I'm not producing a whole lot of mucus because I don't have a whole lot of viral material, maybe I'm not a threat in terms of epidemic proportions. Like, why is people treating it any differently than any other virus? It doesn't make sense to me.
Dude, it's literally weaker than the flu. It's weaker than the freaking flu. It's weaker than the flu. No bullshit, okay? And what drives me insane is people are like, oh, there's been an uptick, another wave. It's flu season. Jimmy, why
Mm-hmm.
can't we just stupid? Oh my god!
Yeah,
Like,
and if you
it's
look at the
like
rates of the
people
other
don't
shit
realize
like
we're
pneumonia,
over
they've all
this.
tanked.
It's December, people. Okay, it is the flu season. Okay, the flu is a form of the coronavirus. It is. So of course, by definition, there was an uptick. So what the hell is this?
Well, and there's
Like people, I
and
mean, man, people are here hysterical, okay, over a virus because the box told them it's bad.
yeah,
The box said it, bro. See,
or
the
the
box doesn't
or the fondle
wrong.
slab, as James Corbett would call it, the little fondle slab. You know?
I'm crazy though. So
Yeah.
crazy.
So like, but like all these other diseases have taken
Can
this
you hear me
sudden.
or no?
Yeah,
God damn it. God damn it. I think I'm muted actually.
I can hear you, Lou. Lou. Well, okay. What I was gonna say, maybe you can hear me, maybe you can't, but that all the other diseases suddenly took this
Wait, I can't hear you. Hold on a second. I think I'm actually muted, fam. I'll recall. I'll recall.
Lou. 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 Okay, well, while he's recalling, I was just gonna say that like everything else has taken like a sharp downhill slide, right? Like suddenly there's so many less of these other diseases. He says Discord might have had issues. We're in Discord right now. I have this unclaimed account over here that I've been fucking with people with. I'm gonna message him, say try restarting.
Now I'm good.
Oh,
I fixed it.
I can hear you.
Cried out for like literally a minute, bro. It fucking died. Fucking Discord. My end died.
The NSA doesn't want us to have fun.
You haven't heard me too much, bro.
So what I was saying is that like all these other diseases have taken a sharp downhill slide, like pneumonia and all these other like you see dramatic drops at the same time as coronavirus had rapid rises. So to me, it's a very clear cut case of a bunch of stuff is being reported as something else.
Yeah, dude. Okay, I live in Florida, right? All right, let me tell you, they live report a freaking motorcycle accident as a virus death. That's retarded, bro. Oh my god. Like what? That alarm lights is stupid, bro. It's freaking dumb. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
like how you gonna record a freaking motorcycle death as a virus death? Like they got caught doing this.
Well, and like this country singer, I don't know what his fucking name is, but he died today. I'm not big into country. Like, there's certain country that I like a lot, but I'm not big into the genre. But this, like, apparently very prolific country artist died today at, like, age 86. And he's dead at age 86. And he apparently
Natural causes.
Yeah. So, like, he died from COVID complications at age 86. If you live to be age 86, that's a really long life. I mean, it wasn't COVID that offed. I mean, and watch, he had like a pack a day or some shit like that. Like, it's a lot of people that are that old, they lived very unhealthy lifestyles to begin with. Everything was coated in sugar. Everything was like low fat, but coated in sugar. So they got big ass fat deposits, or they got like multiple sclerosis, or they got tooth rot. Like, these people weren't healthy. These people smoked a pack a day. These people thought drinking booze was healthy. These people drove cars that belched more CO2 in a single drive than your car does all month because of restrictions. Like, these people were not healthy. And then they're going to come up like old. They're going to be very old. And then suddenly they're going to be like, oh, I have all these health conditions. It must be coronavirus.
Yeah, the boomer coof. That's what it is. The boomer coof. It got me insane too, man. Like Trump survived the coof, man. He survived it. I'm like, okay, there we go. Now I know it's bullshit. Like, I'm like, as soon as I saw him survive the coof, I'm like, all right, it's 100%. This coof is completely ridiculous. All right, y'all all hysterical for no damn reason. Okay, in my own family, bro. My own family. Okay, because listen, I'll admit it. All right, if you're black, you're more at risk. That is true. I know why. I know why. I won't say it. We know why. We all know why. But just like that aside, man, just people, dude, I go to the freaking gym. I don't have no damn mask in the damn gym. No one is. Like, this is bullshit. Mask, bro. Then literally across the freaking street, I go to the freaking Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
All masks.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone a mask in damn Walmart. Like, this is stupid. This is dumb. This is dumb, bro. Like, oh my god. Like, another thing too is, have you noticed that our apparently our equivalent, but not really, quote unquote, right wing allies. We're not really right wing, but what people. It's just they're fighting so hard to put their damn kids in school. I'm like, you're retarded, people. This
Yeah.
the worst. Why would you want this? This is an opportunity to teach your kids and not bring the goddamn center of our nation. But they look at fighting tooth and nail, keep their goddamn kids in daycare plus. Like, why? Oh,
Well,
God.
you know, this is where I get to be a cynical asshole again, because a lot of these people just weren't prepared to have kids to begin with, and school is the only time of day that they get anything done because their kids aren't in their hands, because they don't have to take responsibility for their kids during that time, so they want that time back. And that's true for a lot of people. They had kids when they weren't prepared for kids, so they like and I boil this down to two words: irresponsible fucking, and I always have. And these people that weren't prepared for kids basically use school as a daycare and nutrition program. So, like, they're always very concerned about their kids needing nutrition. They're always very concerned about their kids needing to go to school because their kids get their nutrition from school. And because they have to have that time away from their kids where their kids are in somebody else's hands. And that's where you get the mentality of it takes a village to raise a kid. It's our children, not your children. You didn't build
Oh, yes.
you didn't build that. That's where we get that mentality from, is the school being nascent parents, the state being nascent fathers and mothers, mostly fathers, and the indoctrination system starting them out young, hooking them while they're young, as Cardinal Glick, I think his name was, in fucking Dogma said, hook them while they're young, you know? That's what you do. You got to keep them interested in the system. You got to make it seem like it's normal to follow bells and chimes and sugary treat reward schedules like Pavlovian dogs. You've got to get very used to that because that's how it's going to be the rest of your life. Huh? And hey, we'll give you a talent show. You can shuck and jive on stage for us a bit. School is awful.
And there you go. And there you go, everyone. There's a solution. And then all the weird long hair. Remember, little Timmy, be their friend, because one day they might come to school. It'd be a last day at school ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I like. And I brought that up real quick, especially since then a bunch of people were saying, well, since we can't have school, we've got to have mandatory free childcare. And I'm like, how the fuck are you going to do that? How are you going to have free mandatory childcare that's not school if that Yeah. Well, and it's stupid. Like, what? You're going to have one person to a variety of kids? That's school. You're going to have one person to every kid? That's fucking insane. What? So, it's like, it's a bullshit concept for bullshit people pushing bullshit. And meanwhile, of course, don't pay attention to all the infrastructure that's being built while kids aren't in school. Like, 5G towers, fucking suddenly cable boxes leading to strange cameras that seem to have other equipment attached to them. Oh, gunshot.
Okay, so the 5G. Okay, the 5G. I have my own 5G conspiracy theory. My own conspiracy on 5G. All right. I've heard people say they cause poison and all this. I don't think it's that. Okay. Here's what I think they are. Hear me out. all those pigeons aren't real. Okay, pigeons are not real. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon? No, you've not. They're not real. They're for the cameras. Okay, so I think they're actually nesting centers for the pigeon cameras. They nest there. Okay, so they need to deploy the pigeons with ease. The 5G tower. It makes sense, everyone. It does. Okay.
Well, this is my conspiracy theory, and I've definitely been called insane for it. But the 5G, okay, the first thing that people need to know about the 5G is that it's a very strong wave, but it's shortwave. So you need a lot of towers, a lot of places, and a lot of places to receive those. But these shortwave, very powerful microwaves bounce off shit and penetrate shit. That's how they can go through walls and how you can still get cell signal indoors, you know. So they're small enough to go through walls, and they're powerful enough that they can give you strong signal indoors, which means that they have strong signal through walls. Now that's important because they could use strong signals in the same way that they do radar, in the same way that they have done, like, being able to see through walls, and they could use all these towers to be able to basically watch whatever they wanted. And that's just layer 1. Layer 2 is the Internet of Things, where they could use artificial intelligence and the ever-emerging market of deepfakes to basically put anyone they wanted anywhere to control any opposition and make them look like a villain. Like, so there's that element of it. Then there's the element of the Internet of Things being able to place devices anywhere they wanted, meaning basically that 5G combined with Starlink, which is not 5G, but it's complementary to it, meaning that they can take internet literally wherever they want, in rural areas, in the deep mountains of Yosemite, in, bumfuck Idaho. They could take it wherever they fucking wanted because they've got all the technology to do it now. And yeah, technology can be good, because, people can use it for good. But this particular technology is being built up as an infrastructure for a mass surveillance superstatism. And how do I know that? Well, China was doing the exact same thing. People can watch my video on Clearview and how it brings China's 5G surveillance superstate to the US. And they're building a bunch of cameras everywhere now with thermal bullshit attached to it, but also with facial recognition attached to it, so that all of our faces can be identified with this technology, and they can use this facial recognition technology as an ID system. It's called ID 2020. It's backed by the Rockefellers and Microsoft and Bill Gates. It's done with Accenture technology, which is the same people working with the digital dollar project, which is an official Federal Reserve project to build the new digital dollar. All of this is happening at the same time as a virus that makes everyone want to go contact free. So of course they'll accept the cameras. And people didn't believe me when I talked about the smart glasses, because China runs their smart thing, their Internet of Things thing, on infrastructure based on 5G. And one of the key features of it is basically a heads-up display built into glasses, where cops can wear these glasses and immediately get a readout of your criminal history and your demographics. So this is happening all at the same time as coronavirus, and wouldn't you know it, Flint, Michigan just got fucking funding, a massive amount of it, for RoboCop helmets that basically do the same thing as China's 5G Dragnet helmets do, with their telecom bullshit attached to it, but with the Clearview paint over the same thing. The US can basically snap a picture of anyone and get their fucking bullshit. And with the code of the Clearview app, the API built in, they had API for smart glasses and smart equipment. So wouldn't you know it that all this stuff happens to coincide at around the same time as contact-free bullshit, so that Flint, Michigan could get these along with thermal sensors to justify taking people's temperatures. We're just taking people's temperatures and reading their license plates and seeing their demographic information, their criminal history, their place of employment, and social media activity. We're just able to see that all at once now in Flint, Michigan, in a place where people are already too poisoned to fucking rebel. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed or worried about. We're not the bad guys.
And also keep in mind is that with Flint, they still don't have clean water, and for some reason, some people don't want to accept the reality of how the state itself works. Now, let me explain what I mean. Now, here's the thing, right? Government, you know when government gets really bad when Apple agrees. That's a cheat code, everyone. Watch Apple. Watch Apple because Apple has they'd be like Apple, pretty please, we just get an iCloud to them terrorists. They're like, no, please, Apple, no, turn on top, no. So when Apple themselves are on board, that's when be terrified.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be terrified. I'm telling you, that's when you know it's over because again, the governments, all of them do. They all hate Apple because literally they have a very strict encryption on their devices. So people are like, oh, I'm getting tapped right now. Let's FaceTime. Encryption. So it's
Allegedly.
like,
And of
oh,
course
oh,
there
oh.
and of course there is some FOSS that can do it well. Like Jitsi Meets is pretty good.
Absolutely. And that's why I am studying that form of IT because I know what's going to happen. So I got to make sure that not only I'm good, but the thieves are good as well.
Right. And so Liberty says, I thought 5G also connected different devices through a grid so people would get service not only from towers but also from your neighbor's devices. I think hacking is proposed to be a big issue. I've heard of that. I think that's optional. But that's optional. It's sort of optional like taxation. You know? I mean, you could always stop. So there's some mesh issues there. Yes, yeah, that's definitely a problem. Liberty at Lesieux says with facial recognition, you can use any cameras in the software. It's the software you run over the program. I work in. See, that's partly true, but you need certain sensors in order to get certain things done, like infrared sensors for depth sensing, thermal sensors for sensing, targeted areas. Like certain cameras just can't do what other cameras can do, no matter what software you add to them. I'm sure you know that.
Absolutely. Another thing too is I definitely understand where it's coming from and facial recognition as well. But it's like, okay, here's the thing. All they gotta do is have synthetic flesh and it's over. Honestly, I agree with you, it's over. Synthetic flesh, if they can get a map of your eye and stuff at a very accurate level, and to have synthetic flesh over it of like actual synthetic human body tissue, then there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So now they can have what you gonna do? Gonna run? No, copy your freaking flesh. The code of the eye, put in the flesh. The actual scan of the eye is identical, and you're no longer by yourself. So that's the big thing is that they're able to make like that kind of like organic fake flesh and have a copy of your actual scan and put it on there like 3D printer. Then it's over pretty much
Well,
at that point.
and that's the complicated way, like, because what they're saying here is right too, and I forgot to bring it up. They use gait analysis, so like they analyze the way you walk and pair that to certain key features. That's one of the reasons China can recognize. This is one of the things. Oh, if I wear a mask, I'm protected from facial recognition. Your theory's
I've
got
heard that lie.
your theory's got a hole. Well, not if they analyze your gait. Not if they see your face from here and up, because they can. Not if they see it from here and up, which they can. And if they just get most people's faces and names, they can match their phone to their location and ping a signal off of yours, whether it be audio, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, radio. They can do any of those things in order to triangulate your location anyway, because your phone is linked to you, because we've all chosen to become slaves to these little slabs, these fondle slabs, as James Corbett called them. So the whole idea that you're safe because you're wearing a piece of cloth from anything is pretty ridiculous.
And another thing too, like from with my phone, I'm not well this phone no, old phone yes. It's Linux based. Okay. Linux is open platform. All right. Open platform have pros and cons. You get freedom, but with freedom, you also get the risk of more security by definition. Okay. No, less security by definition. So in Linux community, we found ways to basically take our Linux phones and make sure the state has a hard time trying to get in our phones because we can. Now, nothing is a mask. People, there is some technology to where they can see through the mask. Like they can see through masks like really easily. So the whole my mask they can no they can see you all right through the whole mask. That's paper. It's paper. It's thin. You know what I mean? Like infrared goes to the mask. For example, infrared sensor over the base, and then there you go. The
Right.
entire face is now scripted over. So
And that's the thing. Like the facial mapping is easier with certain cameras, which I'm sure this person knows if they work in security. And that's the like I got a crash course in this with a laptop I had a bit back. It broke and I needed to crowdfund a new computer. You can all support me, by the way. There's a link in the description if you want to see this kind of bullshit continue. I need to pay my rent and my website hosting, so feel free. But with all that in mind, the general idea of infrared, I got this crash course in it because I had this laptop with an infrared camera built in, and I was like, well, that's fucking weird. I don't know why I would need that. That seems like overkill for a fucking laptop. But I still used it, and there were some interesting things. Sometimes it would glitch to where it wouldn't show the primary camera feed, it would show the infrared readout. And I could see depth mapping. I could see that like the room behind me was too far away for the infrared sensors to pick up, so it was a green void. But if I put my hand up, I could see the depth sensors, the topography of my body being sensed by the technology in front of me. That's how it is. Like that's how the infrared works. It senses your topography, and that was a weak infrared sensor. That was like and transmitter. That was like two things. It was like a pinprick. It was like doot doot. It's like on your phone. Your phone has the same kind of doot doot, with very few exceptions. So but these security cameras that they have an array of infrared sensors and transmitters, to where they're like, you know how if you see a security camera at night and it's all like red dots, that's what that is it's the infrared beaming out at you and and it's being received back in to these receivers that are in the same
correct.
matrix. And so with all those lines beaming onto you, they got a much better topography, and this one was already pretty damn close. I
And that's why I also advise people when they have a webcam. Paper does basically nothing over the webcam to a degree. Well, it can't help, but mine, I refuse to buy a laptop or use it more than an hour or so with the damn webcam on it, bro. I refuse to do it. I just can't. Okay, I have webcam personally next to me. It stays unplugged. I'm not dumb. Okay, my own father, all right, he had spyware on his computer.
Mhm.
And I knew it was spyware because he told me that in the night his computer would be turned on and he does not have Windows 10. So I'm like, that's kind of odd. He's been doing it for a couple weeks and just stopped. I'm like, well, there you go. That is spyware. So I always advise people again, if you have any kind of computer, get like a solid material, okay? Get some metal. Actually, get some metal. Yeah, put over the camera with metal, okay? It would be nice and secure from the NSA trying to spy on you and your children, okay?
Well, and also like I don't have a laptop. I have a tower, and
And
and I have a camera with a swivel. Like I can swivel this thing, and it swivels 360 degrees. So if I swivel it, like toward the door or the wall, they can't observe what my face looks like. They can't see most of the room. So I just do that most of the day. And then whenever I need to adjust it for like one of these streams or some bullshit, I just turn it back.
that's one thing I don't play around with cameras, man. Like I'm very, very low key the person. That's what's. I'm like Mr. Robot, honestly. You know what I mean? That's pretty much me. How I live life. Like like his paranoia he has. I'm like, I understand entirely, bro. I get it. Okay, like my boy as well. We be like, man, some days, one of these days, I know it's gonna go down the freaking house and bust on the door, and it'll be over. One of these days. Just that's how it is. Even though we both study, of course, technology and security, but that's how it is. Like I want people to realize certain truths as well, man, and concerning certain liberties that they don't have anymore. Like the phones, like it's funny to me how an example. Okay, good example. So I a while back ago, I won't say when. All right, I talked to someone and their company, all right, for that does their internet in the house, they put their internet on WPA. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, WPA. What year is this? Like, are you serious? Like, WPA? That's like WEP. Like, why would do this? And the other person is like, why does it matter so much? If you have WEP people, I can literally get in your freaking printer and make a print of an image page and be like, I'm devil. All right, give me your money. Okay, like, so the areas of security is how people lose their freedoms. Okay, it's how, and people don't realize that the little small things they do, what they give up in return, that will cost you in the long run. That lady had
Mm-hmm.
no idea that her system was so easily vulnerable. And I look at it, I literally tell her that, listen, the thing is this, you gotta change that to WPA3 pronto. So always know a little bit of security, know a little bit of what things are, watch the cameras. In my opinion too, know where your towers are in your place, your towers. Know exactly where your towers are. Like the 5E towers, I know mine are. Know where mine are.
Mm-hmm.
And also, know where is your nearest FEMA camp. Know when they are, because I know where mine are exactly. I visited one actually when I was younger. FEMA camp. Well, a couple years ago. I want to investigate myself, and I'm sorry. Listen, ain't no. Oh, it's not a coffin. It's not a coffin. It's a coffin, bro. I'm sorry. It's a coffin. You gonna tell me it's not a coffin? It's like it's a cup.
Mm-hmm.
It's a coffin, man. So like, just know these things. Where the FEMA camps are. Know where the cameras are. Where the 5D towers are, because the government preys upon your ignorance. They literally practice in broad daylight sometimes martial law drills. No lie. Is that just true, by the way? If I'm lying to you, look it up. Okay.
Oh, I grew up near a military base. I've definitely seen it.
Yeah, isn't it crazy? They say like certain like dialogue, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my god, this is training? It's crazy, man, how it is nowadays. The people's ignorance will be the biggest downfall.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, it's been basically an hour and a half, so I think it's about time we cut it. But two questions. If there was one thing you could say to Biden, what would it be? And what's the message you want to leave people with tonight?
If I could say one thing to Joe Biden, well, it's not a word, you know.
Oh, it could be a paragraph. It could be a book.
Like, no, just like, you know, a little bit, and then like, you know, he just take care of himself. He's got he good, you know, just a little bit of coof for Biden. Okay, that's how I want to do Biden. And after expression, I read a lot of existentialism, so like Soren Kierkegaard, like either or and such. And I think if I could leave one thing for people to know is that you must understand how economics works and things like Laffer curve, because if you do not have an escape plan, a 10, 15, 20-year escape plan from these Western civilization, I won't say it won't fall apart. I won't promise you this, but I don't feel me safe, man. So please, if y'all can, have your exit plan ready to go, because if you know the truth on economic collapse, you will understand what I'm saying is very, very important. Well, that's pretty much it.
And hey, if you want to read about that economic collapse, feel free to hit up my my author's page on AgoristNexus, where I talk about why the economic collapse is inevitable. I talk about this fucking like COVID-19 panopticon superstate they're building, the facial recognition, all of that. I talk about 10 ways that the COVID response actually made your health worse, and a variety of other things. But basically, you can find all my insane conspiracy bullshit there. You can find the Based Pluto on his own YouTube channel and also on Twitter. And feel free to support these streams with that Cointree link in the description. Or if you decide you want to support these streams with a direct PayPal donation, I'm going to put my link right here. Because until I reach the YouTube whatever partner thing, I don't get monetization of any sort. So
you can turn it on actually now. You have 1K subs.
I don't have 4,000 watch hours though.
Okay.
So that's something you need now. They added that. So once I get that, once people listen to my insane rants for a long enough period of time, do I still think Trump was a CIA plant? Yes, of course.
Yes.
I mean, why wouldn't he be? He operates exactly the way the deep state would want somebody to. He's such a radical. He's so different, but he's doing the same shit as everybody else. Yeah, he's totally not a CIA asset at all. Nah, they just haven't done the same thing with like dictators around the world. Um, but that and I've started doing fucking gaming streams on Twitch, and I'm actually closer to affiliate there than I am here on YouTube. So if you guys want to support me, I'm currently playing a bunch of Sonic games because I have to praise the Lord and Savior Sonic the Hedgehog. So feel free to go check that out. I'm putting the link in the chat for that as well. But I've been having some measure of fun. You wanna unironically think he was a dictator? All presidents are dictators. It's just a matter of how much they get to dictate, how much the state lets them dictate. I mean, they're all there though. To think they aren't, to think with all this power, the power for executive orders, they're not. I mean, as long as they play ball, they get to keep playing ball. JFK found out the hard way what happens when you don't play ball. But you know, he's an edge case. The rest of them kept very well in line with the Epstein parties and all the blackmail that comes from that, with the Bohemian Club with Skull and Bones. Of course all these people are fucking dictators. They're just the current dictator plant that the elites put in there so that we all focus our attention on them and not the true shadow government underneath the surface.
And don't forget the shadow factories too. Like unfortunately with China, and people think it's not true. The shadow contracts is very unfortunate because, like, I got exposed to those, the shadow contracts from Vinny Paz, the rapper, with Jedi Mind Tricks. I was like, what's the shadow contract? What's the shadow factory? People, there's literally entire secret factories you don't know that exist, that homeland countries put their people in outside the state and then closely monitor and watch them. So now innocent people against their own will are basically in factories globally. I mean, this is global. They're here in America. That make the things like your shoes you wear that 100% stay controlled by the mother country. Shadow factories, research them.
And of course, black sites, which are just directly operated by the intelligence industrial complex and snatching people up on a regular basis. But, you know, it was just Home and Square. After Home and Square shut down, don't keep looking. Don't keep looking. Don't keep looking. But with all that being said, feel free to follow him. I put all the relevant links in the description. You can follow him on Twitter at @TheBasedPluto and also on YouTube at @TheBasedPluto. You can subscribe. Feel free to. He does good stuff. With all that being said, this has been Jeremiah Harding, or Insanity is Free. Smash the state.